Welcome to the JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show with celebrity nutrition expert, fitness Hall of Famer, and 4-time New York Times bestselling author, JJ Virgin. JJ is a warrior mom whose knowledge and expertise have helped change hundreds of thousands of lives with over 3.5 million podcast downloads and appearances on Dr. Phil, Dr. Oz, The Today Show, Rachel Ray, Larry King Live.
Whoa. This show is about you, not about me. I want to help you find practical, real-world ways to dial in your health and mindset so you can finally lose that weight and feel strong and energized. Stop settling for less than your personal best. It's time to find out how to look and feel better than ever. And I'll be right here with you the whole way. Welcome to the podcast. All right. Well, you know how much I love talking about weight and weight loss and all the things that can get in the way of you losing weight. One we haven't talked a lot about, which we really should be, are toxins. And today we're going to be talking about toxins, obesogens. I learned something I didn't know before that is kind of a shockaroo. I'm not going to tell you, though. You'll have to listen. And I've got a great guest talking about this today. I've got Bridgit Danner, who is a functional nutrition coach specializing in women's health and hormones. So she got super interested in obesity and toxins because she started to see how much toxins were disrupting hormones. It's a little prelude of what's going to come here today. She is the founder of the online community Women's Wellness Collaborative and the host of the weekly Hormone Guru podcast. She focuses on women with midlife women with energy, digestive, and weight issues that haven't responded to basic diet and lifestyle improvements, and hint, probably because of a lot of the toxic issues going on there. So we are going to be talking to Bridgit. She has a super cool gift for everyone, which you are going to want to have. She is going to be giving out her Morning Detox program. We'll talk more about that, but you can grab that at jjvirgin.com/morning detox, because as always, we have awesome notes. And in this show, there are so many things that we talked about that we are putting into the notes as resources. All righty, Bridgit Danner, welcome to the show. This is such a cool topic to be talking about today.
JJ Virgin, thanks for having me.
So I've been teaching this course, I taught it for years, called Overcoming Weight Loss Resistance. And one area that I would talk about that would get in the way of you losing weight and make you gain weight that people never thought about, it was like this like stealth invader, were toxins. So I am really excited to be sharing this with you today and talking to you. Let's dive in with just in general, how do toxins affect your ability to lose weight?
Yeah, so many ways. So one thing is if you're intaking toxins through your skin or your food or what have you, we'll get more into that. It's causing inflammation in your body. Our current toxic load is too high for our organs of detoxifications to process. So we get in an inflamed state, and that gets in the way of your hormone receptors. And if your hormones are very much involved in weight management. Insulin getting into the cells, estrogen getting out of your body. So that's one way. I'll also introduce a word. I don't know if you've had it on the podcast yet. Obesogens. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So these are chemicals that either induce weight gain or cause weight loss resistance. And there's a growing list of them, from everything to plastics, to food additives, to fertilizers. So these can make your cells expand, your fat cells expand and hold more fat, or it can...
That's a bad thing. No one wants expanded fat cells.
No, you definitely do.
Yuck.
Yeah, so we can either do that, or it can tell stem cells to become fat cells. So stem cells are waiting to find out, should they be a kidney cell?
I did not know that. That is a horrible thing.
Yeah. So that can be very stubborn to reverse. Sometimes you get it through taking a medication. It can be from like GMO food or non-organic food, from BPA plastics. So that's an important thing to know about. And yeah, women who are trying to lose weight and they're eating right and exercising and feeling like they can't lose weight, you may have to look at the toxins in their life and also maybe adding in some additional ways to detoxify their body.
So let's go into these toxins because, I got fascinated with this early on because I remember the initial studies were showing that your metabolism actually, your body was cooling down to help, and you didn't want to release these toxins. So it was like cooling down to make you hold onto them. But before we get there, because people are probably thinking, I don't have any of those toxins, let's talk about how prevalent these toxins are, where they're coming from, why this is really an issue for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I heard one great lecture is just talking about how, as soon as you wake up in the morning, what toxins are you being exposed to? So maybe you drink a glass of water and it's tap water, and there can be hormones that from birth control that's in our water, and antibiotics and heavy metals that haven't cleared out, giardia. We're learning that our tap water isn't as clean as we assume it to be. We're not as protected as we think we are. So tap water, your shower water, you're absorbing toxins in your shower. There's probably chlorine in there too. So you're absorbing that, which can mess up your thyroid and make you gain weight. Then maybe you have a cup of coffee. And if that's not organic, you're getting pesticides, you're getting molds, probably also in your coffee, which has mycotoxins. And then maybe
we all drink bulletproof coffee over here.
Yes, we're promoting bulletproof coffee. And that's another good reason. Regular coffee, so to speak, has toxins in it for sure. So that's messing you up. And I know your listeners are really educated, but if you had like a half and half, I don't know, like what is that creamer that a lot of people have, that press?
Oh, gross. Like that international, or the coffee mate, or
there
ew.
You go. I mean, that has probably corn syrup in it, which is GMO, Obesogen, some soy products, also MSG. So a lot of things that you eat, and then things that beauty products is another huge one. So even if you've changed your
no.
We all want to be beautiful. We can all use beauty products, but we need to be conscious of what's in our beauty products.
This is a shout out to Anne-Marie Gianni Skincare, because
yes, that's a great line. Yeah, you really need to do your research. One key thing I've learned from a mentor of mine is just look for the word fragrance in your label. That is a toxic soup of chemicals. It can be up to 300 chemicals in the word fragrance.
Wow.
Yeah, and those are hormone disrupting chemicals. If your hormones are disrupted, then your weight can be disrupted as well. So just looking out for that one word when you choose things, and that might stymie you at first, but there are a lot of natural options out there now at your natural grocery, even at Target, online. So yeah, just starting to be more aware and shift it. It's all these little shifts, right? And then coming in contact with plastics. Are you putting your coffee in like a plastic mug, or like even those throwaway mugs, the paper ones?
Yeah, the plastic tops, or that just makes me so sad. And I've got a shout out here too. You were talking about tap water, but then you get water in plastic bottles. It's not.
You don't want the water in plastic bottles. Yeah. So water is almost one of the hardest ones to work with, because you do need some kind of filtration system, ideally. The woman I study with, Laura Adler, she's like, if your choice is tap water or water in a plastic bottle, drink the tap water. That's how strongly she feels.
Wow.
About plastic.
Well, we'll have a lot of resources here, because what I don't want to do is have people go, oh my gosh, freak out. But, your skin is a sieve. So it's not just what you drink. It's what if you're going in a bathtub, that creates a problem. It's what you're swimming in, what you're bathing in, what you're showering in. All of this stuff matters. And I think the key point you just said here is like, these things are all around us. I remember I did a lecture on toxicity, and one of the things I found was that it doesn't really matter where you go in the world anymore because of the air and the water and transportation. It's like there's just toxins everywhere. So key takeaway on this is they are everywhere. Obviously, you want to minimize exposure as much as possible, but no matter what we do, we're going to get exposed. So
it's just reduction.
Then what?
It's just reduction. Yeah. And it's seriously, it's little by little. Like getting overwhelmed and doing nothing is the opposite of what we want you to do. Yeah.
That's what we don't want paralyzation right now, but we do know that you're getting exposed. So let's talk about, because I think there's so much misinformation out there about how to truly detoxify. You see these silly juice cleanses and, and so let's talk about, so we know you're getting toxins in. Step one is to get them out of your life as much as possible.
Yeah.
Assuming that you are now pulling those toxins out. What do we need to do to actively detoxify? Because now we know that they disrupt our hormones, they're causing weight gain. What can we do besides reducing our exposure? What do we do about those ones? Because if we're getting more in than we can get rid of, we've got those problems. How do we get rid of them?
Yeah, well, this is the fun part because there are a lot of effective ways to get rid of them. And I don't know if you know this about me, JJ, but I was living in a home with toxic mold. So I've had to learn a lot about detoxification. And I've definitely found some things that have worked really well for me. One of which you advocate, which is using a sauna. And there's some really high-end saunas that, are infrared, but even just, when I first was exposed to mold, you lose all your money. Basically, you don't have anything. So I was just using it at the gym for like a year, and it still works. It works maybe a little less effectively, but it still works. So using a sauna is a great way. We'll
also put the link. I've got a sunlight and sauna in my garage, as you know, and man, love it so much. So if you can do that, it's a
great investment. It helps you burn calories while you're in there. It helps you get out a lot of toxins. They've tested the sweat coming out when you detox, and a lot comes out, heavy metals and molds and all sorts of things. So yeah, I have a sunlighting one as well now. And a cheaper thing you can do is dry brush your skin. So have you talked about that on the show?
I don't know if I've talked about it recently, but we should definitely talk about it again, because I think this is just one of those things, that should be part of your routine.
Yeah, it's so easy and quick in the morning, and it gives you energy. So you're looking to caffeine and other stimulants less. So I just have this little handheld brush. Again, you can probably get in a natural grocery store, or Amazon or whatever. And then you brush your skin dry. You're not in the shower. Before you take a shower, you brush.
Hence the dry brush. Everyone's like, how do you dry brush? I go, well, dry.
Yeah. And you just vigorously brush towards your heart. So say you're starting at your wrist and you move up your arm through your armpit. There's a lot of lymph in there towards your heart. And then you just do your whole body that way. It's so energizing and really moving toxins. This is supporting our body's natural ability to detoxify by moving lymphatic tissue, basically. So that's a great way and super cheap. Another thing you can do, and I encourage this to do right away in the morning, because you're kind of stagnant overnight, right? When you're sleeping. So you wake up maybe a little groggy. You wake up a lot groggy if you're toxic, frankly. When I had the worst mold, was in the worst state, my eyes would be super swollen, and that's just lymph. That's it. There's too much toxin. It's sitting in the lymph and it can't move. So if you're seeing that in your own self, really a lot of puffiness and water under the skin, detoxification is great. So also just doing something that's free is just doing some squats, doing some jumping jacks, just move. I really like to move that groin crease, which is why I say this to do the squats. And that's my favorite because lymph gathers there. So just do, 3 sets of squats in the morning. And then if you want a different option, you can do a rebounder, do bouncing. And JJ, I think you've got some little device you use too, right? Like a stepper.
I use my exerciser, but I'm trying to remember. I just did an interview which I was like, okay, that's it. I'm just writing it down again. Get rebounder. I was just going, this is the coolest thing ever. So
Rebounder's pretty cool. And they're only I think mine was $90 or something like that. So, you can get them even cheaper, and it really moves your lymph again, energizes you, and you can get a proper workout on there too. It gets your cardio going pretty quickly. So it's good for your heart. So those are a few things you can do. And then I'll mention something I'm really into lately is alkalizing. So just doing a green drink in the morning. I don't do a thick smoothie usually. I just do a light green drink with lemon and cilantro. And I love it. It totally shifts my energy. And so when we're in, our body's always trying to find the right pH. but usually we're putting in a lot of acidic things, when we have eggs and coffee and this sort of thing. So what's alkalizing is more like the greens and certain berries and certain nuts. So getting right away in the morning, this dose of alkalizing and hydration, it feels amazing. So I've become a big advocate for that. It's super simple.
And greens are great because they're super detoxifying too. So you have that double whammy.
Yeah. So those are a few tips.
So let's talk about one that kind of makes me nuts. And it's this idea of doing like a juice cleanse is this great way to detoxify. Because there's been so many of those out there. What's your feeling on those?
Yeah, I think there's two sides of it. So anytime you lighten your load on what you eat, it does give your body a chance to detoxify, because a lot of the work our body does is like digesting food. So if we lighten the load and we're having more liquid stuff, and then maybe you're getting greens and those juices, it does give your body a chance to detoxify. However, maybe this is your point why you pick on it. It's like, you can't do that for 3 days and then just go back to what you were doing before. That doesn't really work. So it's not a long-term solution. So what is your take on it, JJ?
Well, so my big issue with it is that, in order to detoxify well, first of all, I love what you've said, because it really needs to be an integrated approach. So I love the dry brushing, sweating. I think a key thing we always need to look at is if someone's not sweating well, I'm always concerned that they are going to have issues with toxicity, because it's one of the big ways, we pee, we poop, we sweat. Those are big ways we release toxins. But in order to release toxins well, we need protein to help escort them out of the body. So I get super concerned with, these juice cleanses, because I think, you free up the toxins, but you then can't get them out. So that is my issue with them. That's why I like to look at detox cleanses that have some protein in them, that have good detox nutrients in them, that have a lot of antioxidants in them, so that you don't create bigger problems for yourself,
Yeah, it's a good point. And it's funny because it's one that I'm sort of exploring right now. I'm doing a detox through a friend of ours, and it's pretty hardcore. There is not much protein. You can add it in. It's like optional, but I'm just sort of... Yeah,
see, I don't believe that should be optional. I think that is...
and of course, we're feeling like pretty like woozy. And so, and I've done other cleanses before, and, I like to research and experiment on myself, so eventually I can bring my best tips to my audience. So yeah, I've definitely been going through that. It's like, well, maybe I, modify this a bit, because I need to chew food also. Like, I need some solid food. I mean, I'm trying to work, and it's not the easiest when you're feeling really spacey from not.
Again, I don't feel that. I've always felt like things that make you feel spacey and weird, it's one of the ways your body's saying not working. So, but I think one of the key takeaways here is, one of the things we're not looking at in terms of weight and hormones is that a lot of this disruption could be coming because of toxins. I saw this incredible data from the NHANES study where they were saying, we think that people are diabetic because they're obese. Actually, the obesity, they've got fats, toxins stored in the fat, and that is what's creating the diabetes, not the fat itself. And so what I'm hearing is, if you have toxins, you actually can create bigger fat cells and more fat cells. And then this can disrupt your hormones, and then you can gain more weight, have more hormone dysfunction. So we've got to look first at getting the toxins, any place we can avoid toxins, like, dry cleaning, laundry detergent. Shout out to our buddy Stephen Azell of Greenfills. Made me fall in love with laundry again. Anywhere we can avoid contact, we should. But then we have to actively think of what we can do on a daily basis to start to get this stuff out, because it won't just leave. It doesn't just leave. You have to escort it out, because this is a major issue with our health. I mean, what other health problems besides just the weight issue do you feel are you're at risk for because of toxicity?
I'm definitely increasing cancer risk. I think for sure. My father-in-law, we just found out last month, has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So we're looking at detoxifying in a pretty hardcore way and like what caused this. And, he's got some dental issues, both with infection and fillings can be an issue. So there's toxins that our body makes too, right? Like when it's not healthy, when we have gut infections or mouth infections. So we can look at those types of toxins as well. So I think cancer, diabetes, like you mentioned, I think it contributes to a lot of mood issues, from depression to anxiety to hyperactivity. That's why so many moms are removing toxins from their kids' diet, right? And good for them, because they're seeing that like when a kid is having, food coloring or what have you, they get really stimulated. So kids, sometimes you can see it faster, but it happens to us as adults as well. So I think it helps with mood. Energy is huge. I mean, maybe that's not a diagnosis, but it's a common condition, right? Low energy.
Oh my gosh, it's one of the biggest complaints that we have, right?
Yeah.
You're going to hear that.
So prevalent, and everybody's at Starbucks all the time. So we need, to make energy in our cells, and those receptors need to be communicating well and getting their nutrients, and toxins can just interrupt the digestive process. So we're not getting our nutrients as well. Again, we talked about it, inflaming cell receptors. So within the cell, within like the mitochondria of the cell, this is really how we have our energy. And toxins they just kind of create little blocks everywhere that things don't work correctly.
That's a great way of saying it. So for people listening, because the last thing I ever want to do is get everyone all stirred up without a solution. I know that you have a great gift for everyone listening, and I've never heard about this before, and I love this because I always love things that get you into action simply, so you start to notice a difference. And so tell them about the morning detox that you're going to be giving everybody.
Yeah, some of the things we already talked about, really simple, like dry brushing your skin, doing squats. I'll give the recipe for my little cilantro lime drink that's actually really delicious and alkalizing and energizing. So I'll give that gift, and then I'll also give some tips. We talked about just taking one step at a time. So I'll give some like simple swaps you can make, like for instance, swapping out your plastic kitchen utensils for wood. That's like a super simple swap. So I'll give some of those tips as well that people can do over time.
Perfect. So you'll be able to get that at jjvirgin.com/morning detox. I'll make it easy. jjvirgin.com/morning detox. And again, this is not something you can just kind of turn your back on. We all are getting bombarded with toxins daily. Ideally, take them out, but you won't be able to. It's not possible to get them all out. So we have to be thinking what we can do every single day to get these suckers out. I had someone early on, one of my mentors, say, better out than in. So we do. We want to be escorting them out. Super important. So thank you, Bridgit, so much. Great information on a topic we need to talk about a lot more. And I love your take on it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you for sharing me with your community. I appreciate it.
And reminding everybody again, so jjvirgin.com/morning detox to grab this easy way to start your day. This is the first step into starting to really detoxify. And I appreciate you doing that. So stay with me, because after the break, I'll be answering a listener's question.
Want a better quality of sleep while also calming your brain? Now, there's a great tasting way to do it. JJ Virgin's lemon-flavored sleep candy contains amino acids and nutrients to help you naturally fall asleep with ease. This gluten-free, non-GMO, dairy-free sleep assistant also helps you stay asleep, so you feel rejuvenated and more relaxed. So if you want to get a better night's sleep, visit www.jjvirgin.com/products and try JJ Sleep Candy.
Welcome back. This is the time where I answer a listener's question. Today's question is from Alex in Sarasota. Alex says, JJ, I've been doing a detox cleanse and, I just feel awful, but I'm guessing that means it's working, right? I used to teach this course to doctors called Overcoming Weight Loss Resistance, and part of it was just detoxification. I actually pulled out that whole piece and made its own program because of this very issue here of this complete confusion as to how our body really detoxifies. There's two things that happen here. First of all, you have to free the toxins up. So we are bombarded every single day by a load of toxins. Now, ideally, your body's processing them, getting rid of them through your sweat, through your feces, through your urine, which is why if you're not sweating, it's an issue. Where saunas, like my sunlight and sauna, come into play. However, that's one piece of it. If you are getting bombarded by toxins, you may be overloading your system and storing them and creating what's called a toxic burden. And we store toxins in our fat. And then they can do a whole variety of things, everything from neurological disorders, hormone imbalances, weight, obesity, etc. So we got to get them out. Now, you've got to free them from the fat, and then you've got to release them from the body. Those are two different things, and actually they require two different sets of nutrients. The first one, you want to make sure you've got a lot of antioxidants on board, a lot of liver support, and that's where having lots of green vegetables that really chelate, bright colored, eat from the rainbow vegetables, but specific nutrients are key here too. And again, antioxidants are a big one here. Things like curcumin and green tea and resveratrol and vitamin C and vitamin A and vitamin E. So all of the different antioxidants and a variety of them, along with things that support the liver, like milk thistle, lipoic acid, selenium, all key. That's the first part. And things like green drinks can really help free up those toxins. But again, that's the first part. You free up the toxins, then you better get them out, right? If you do something in your house to get the mice to come out from hiding, you want to make sure you also get them out of the house. You don't just want them running around all over the place. So you've got to now, step 2, get them out, which is needs protein. And so if you're doing a juice cleanse and you feel worse, not better, it's because you are worse, not better. Okay, you should not feel that way. So what you want to think of next is how do we get those toxins out? And that's a protein dependent step. So that's one of the key things that I look for in a detoxification program is that piece of it as well. And so if you're feeling worse, it's your body trying to tell you, this is not working so well. Now, one other thing I want you to think about in detoxification is it's the diet's important with the supplements. If you're really detoxifying specific things like heavy metals, you'll want to work with a functional medicine doctor. But you'll also want to think about what can I do every single day, like dry brushing, using your sauna, sweating, drinking a lot of pure spring water, eating loads of greens, supporting your liver, taking antioxidants, getting good, clean protein that really supports detoxification, because we should be detoxifying daily. Now, you might want to do a more intense, focused cleanse, and I really like those, especially if you've got heavy metals medically supervised. I like to do those focused ones because they get you to focus back on yourself, get some bad habits out, etc. But again, if you're feeling worse, not better, you need to check in because you might be missing some key nutrient like protein that's necessary in this situation. Thank you so much for that question, Alex. If you'd like to ask a question, 2 best places to do it. Go to either Facebook at JJ Virgin Official, and you can leave a question on my wall there or jump into one of my Facebook Lives and leave a question. Or you can pop on over to Instagram at jj.virgin, look for the little blue check, and leave a question there as well. We are always monitoring those, looking for the best questions to pull up and add to the podcast. The other thing we look to add to the podcast is our reviews. And I got to tell you, love these reviews. I know they make a big difference out there when people are deciding what they want to listen to. So I really appreciate everyone leaving these. And if you haven't left one yet, can I have a little ask here and ask you to pop on over to iTunes, leave a review while you're there, subscribe, share it with your pals. All right. So this one's from Elizabeth and it's 5 stars, says great. Easy to apply info. JJ's high energy, scientific knowledge, and actionable tips make her podcast fun and informative. Thanks, JJ. And thank you, Elizabeth, for that. And thank you all for being here. And I will see you next week.
That's all for this episode of the JJ Virgin Lifestyle Show, which marks another step towards a healthier body and mind. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the show. And we'll talk to you next week.